All right. Apparently, there is music now built in. Not my favorite jam, but we'll take it. Let me see. Let's get Andrew up here as a co-host.
Hello, hello. How's everybody doing?
And Andrew Pinch, how are you, man?
I'm doing good, Sibo. That was
Good.
smooth jazz to get us going here.
Right? There's only like four selections, so I figured I'll go through a couple of them. But yeah, it's.
Oh, it
I was
was
actually gonna I was
good.
gonna bring in my Bluetooth speaker and actually play some of my own music, but it's hey they're building it in now, so it takes it off me. So
Hey, no, that was pretty good. I didn't mind a little elevator music to get you started.
yeah, I'll take it. So hope everybody's Christmas was good, Andrew. I hope Santa was good to you.
Yeah, no, things were good. Kids loved it, man.
Yeah, good.
Our oldest is almost 4. Youngest is just turned 1, so he didn't really get it with the opening. But yeah, the
Yeah,
almost 4-year-old was having the best time ever. So
right on.
good times.
Yeah, I remember those days. My kid's 25 now, right? So should I just send her money? And I'm gonna stop that probably after this year. So
Yeah, it keeps her happy, right?
yeah, she's making way more money than I was at 25, so she can make it
Is
on her
that
own now.
is that
So
inflation adjusted or no?
yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, I shouldn't stick to hard numbers, right? So different times. So wait a
No,
few
that's good.
minutes to let people pile in here, man. Yeah, we had
Yeah.
almost 100 people sign up for this one. So
Well, anytime Liberty is doing giveaways, it typically bumps up the
I
numbers, right?
know. Yeah, I hope I helped him with that little promo video I put out earlier today.
Oh my god. I'm surprised you posted that.
Oh, I don't care. Yeah, no, it was all in good fun. I was literally what I was trying to do was play with this different software that I've been using for editing and recording and everything.
Yep.
And so I was like, well, let's just do something stupid for it. It literally took me like 45 minutes, and then I could piece it all together. I could put sound over it and make sure, all that was working well. So,
Nice.
and speaking of that, in this group here, I mentioned it and I posted a little promo video on YouTube. This is going to be the first time where I'm hoping I have 3 different cameras recording my screen so we can see who's chatting on the just like you see on Twitter. And then myself and my reactions and who comes up and some other things that's getting recorded at the same time. So hopefully it works this time. I thought I was going to have it a couple of chats ago, but didn't really pan out. So this time, let's cross our fingers and I'll be able to have some YouTube edited content. Hopefully some B-roll footage if we talk about charts or pools or whatever the case may be, whatever comes up tonight, we can actually look at it as we talk through it. So,
Yeah, no, I think it's definitely a good idea to get some more video involved. Like you said, even sometimes when you're talking about either price action or whatever, at least you can go into some of the specifics of it, right? Which
yep,
for me too, like I'm more of a visual learner, so I prefer almost more of that visual
yeah,
content anyway. But I was laughing with my wife. I showed her the video of all your stuff being set up, and here I am at my in-laws in the garage. I've got my laptop on a workbench and I'm working from my phone.
yeah.
So not the same setup as you're used to, but
Yeah.
hey.
Oh no. I'm just piecing this all together as we put this together. This way, I figured. I lost 2 hours of great video content on the first attempt. So
Yeah.
this way, I
Yeah.
figured if there's 3 fucking things going at the same time, one of them is going to get what I need to be able to piece it all together. So
There you go.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Fail safes, backup plans, plan B, plan C. There you go.
Yeah, you got it. So who else has hopped in here already? You got DB, Mr. Super Bowl man. He's in the Super Bowl for the Telfam
I
fantasy
was gonna say,
football.
don't say it yet. Don't jinx it. Don't jinx
Yeah,
it.
I know. Yeah, yeah. Um, I'm gonna invite Cody up here. I know eventually he's gonna hop in. There's some stuff we want to talk to him about, specifically with some Solana NFT projects migrating over to Matic. Matic is just on fire lately. If you guys aren't paying attention to Matic, man, make sure you do research what they're building out. I mean, I was listening to a space. I don't know if it was yesterday or the day before, but there's this non-cool factor with Matic, right? However, it's just absolutely crushing and it just keeps building and building and building. It just passed, I think, what was it, BNB on daily transactions, I think. So
That's correct. Yeah.
yeah, and so it's crazy how much activity Matic is you know putting out there, and then again, there's just this non-cool factor, right? Especially when it comes to the NFTs, that's a whole different animal in and of itself, But so we want to make sure we bring that up, and Cody's heavily involved in a couple of those projects, so I want to get his take on it. So, but yeah, we're about 5 minutes past the hour, so we can get going. I mean, I know most of the people just kind of listen to this after the after the space is recorded anyway. So this one is
Steve,
being
before you
recorded.
get yeah,
Yeah, go
yeah,
ahead.
I noticed Parzival wanted to come up, had maybe a
Oh,
question or
right
something.
on.
You want to kick it off with
Yeah,
him
yeah,
or get right into it?
yeah. Let me.
What do you want to do?
Yeah, no, bring it up. Yeah, what do you got?
Oh, what's going on, guys? Just
Uh,
wanted to say, like, Happy New Year coming up here soon. I'm excited for it. I just remember 2 years ago when the I was reminded 2 years ago when Telcoin began that initial run for like the first time from the bottom, and it was just nostalgic as we're coming to the end of the year to think
yeah,
back then. Like, we had no clue what was happening. We were just excited it was starting to move, and the community just like exploded from there. And it was only a short few months from there that we hit our all-time high and just saw like that euphoric run. So that was super cool to kind of like refeel once again this holiday season.
yeah. It's a long time ago now, right? It doesn't feel that long, at least to me, and I don't know how anybody else takes it, but it is. I mean, it's May will be 2 years, since it hit all time high. So that's bananas to me. Like, just thinking through 24 months, it's
Yeah, I
crazy.
know. It's crazy how, like you say, even in like this crypto world, 2 years, like it's technically not that long of a time, but like in crypto, that's forever,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, exactly. Well, not for
Um,
bear markets, obviously. So I
yeah,
think the last
obviously.
one was three years. So if we can.
I got a question actually for the Parzival if he's willing to answer. I know he's been
Would
doing
love
some.
to.
Yeah, I noticed you put out some TA, like some technical analysis. Maybe get your thoughts on kind of what you foresee in the next short to medium term with price action.
Yeah, I think from Bitcoin perspective or like Telcoin specifically.
If you want to speak to Telcoin specifically, and if that involves, obviously more macro things like Bitcoin and overall environment, you can feel free to touch on that. It's just more of a question because I know you put some stuff out there, so I just wanted to maybe give you the floor to speak on it a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. So when I've been looking at Telcoin recently, I have seen a very like close correlation with Bitcoin. I mean, Bitcoin's trading right now as like a stable coin, and it's very interesting to see because I think like we're in a phase where we're entering into like a sideways market just before. It's kind of like the calm before the storm as we get ready for 2024. And for Telcoin, what I really like to see is like how well Telcoin like signals bottoms, and really has a great structure format for resistance and support. It's really easy to see Telcoin's support and resistance points, and like as I've looked at this over, I mean we're in a pretty bullish daily trend right now, and I really like that. I think we're in a good spot right now where we're seeing a double bottom here. It could be really good opportunity if Bitcoin will play along and will like really start to um, rally the market and really give us an opportunity to make some money coming into the quarter one. But if it does decide to do a dump here, like Bitcoin decides to finally open the hatch and let it happen, and we 1312, I could really see Telcoin coming back closer down to this like original bottom. Everyone started this pump. I think it was back in. Let me look. I'm looking at my chart right now. Back in like October or late October, early November. So I think for me, right now, I'm just buying every dip while we're in any bullish structure for Telcoin right now. I'm just constantly accumulating, but mostly accumulating and doing so, adding to my dollar cost average strategically, more strategically than I was before, where I was just kind of auto buying every week, no matter what the price was as we were coming down. But now I'm looking more at the perspective of, okay, this is kind of the moment before the moment where we could get a much lower position. I think a lot of people are hoping that we do with Bitcoin, and I was hoping for a 000 Telcoin. Was like what I was looking for. If anything under a tenth of a penny, and I was gonna like that was when I was gonna go big. So I was hoping for that, and I feel like if if I'm being honest, I think that's too greedy. I think it could be too greedy. Um, I don't know that we will actually get to see that, and I'm really hoping we do personally, but I don't know if we'll see that. And I
If
think
you're
this is like
accumulating, you're hoping. Yeah, that's for sure.
yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, like that's it. I think for me too, as we've started to pump, I've actually pulled out of the pools, um, and gone more like I've taken out like all of that USDC, and that's what I'm like really and the other tokens that I was like pooled with, and I'm really putting those in like more so into Telcoin now, and on every one of these dips like this here because this thing is a token that can just run, and when she runs,
Yeah, and
and
there's
it
no
gives you
notice, no
FOMO.
nothing, right?
It gives you FOMO so hard. And every time she does it, I'm like, I should have bought more. And I knew I should have bought more. I told myself I should have bought more. And I just don't know why I didn't buy more. So right now, any bullish structure from a long-term perspective, like on the daily chart right now, it looks really, really good. Um, I'm eating up as many dips as I can and just allowing. I'm actually even trading it too. I did sell a little bit off as we got like to that second top. Um, when I saw that rejection there, I kind of sold off a couple of them. I'm trading it because I'm trying to accumulate, right? So that's the goal. So you know, instead of trying to accumulate more USDC or USDT, I'm really focused on trying to accumulate more Telcoin as a goal rather than trying to make more dollars out of it.
Got it. No, I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for all that, man. That was awesome.
Yeah, man, absolutely.
Yeah, and I know Andrew, you're getting or studying up on some technical analysis, right?
I got a technical analysis book for dummies for Christmas.
Oh, right on. All right, there you go.
There we go.
Yeah, there we go.
So we're starting. I know DB was asking a little bit earlier to send out some new ones, and I'm kind of just looking at my chart now, and again, mine's very basic, but yeah.
Now, Andrew, are you sticking strictly with support and I mean, are you so you're in a basic skill
Yeah.
set right
I'm
now?
gonna
Yeah,
start slow and try to be comfortable as much as I can with that before moving into other things. But like
yeah. You haven't
from
looked into Fibonacci
well, that's
and
what I was gonna
Bollinger
say. Is like
Bands
kind of
and all
like
that.
the next thing is that I wanted to learn was more on the fib side.
Yeah.
And then there's some other stuff too. Like even the moving averages, understanding those a little bit better. But
Yeah.
again, I just got that book, so give me some time.
Yeah, yeah. So right now, yeah, so you read that book and no longer a
Cody, stop
TA
laughing
dummy.
at me.
Yeah, Cody's.
Guy.
It was in
If you're gonna
support.
make
I
fun of me,
swear it was in support.
I was gonna say if you're gonna make fun of me, just come up and say it to me. I'll second
No,
it.
dude, I can't read
Cody's
any
just
charts. I just feel the emotional
yeah,
sentiment on everything.
yeah. Cody's been degening for 8 years now. He doesn't read charts; he just buys, right?
Hey, if it feels feels good, I like the stock.
That's
Go,
right.
go with your gut. Go with your gut.
Yep.
I
Yeah.
will say it usually is
Um,
going with those gut feelings too, because there's been a couple to where you kind of hit yourself for it, because like Shib was one of those ones. I remember Patty talking about it early on, and I was like,
yeah.
it could be a contender, and I honestly kicked it to the side, and shit, dude, nah, I wish I wouldn't have.
Yeah. Even Suka now, everybody's pumping Sukas, or at least putting it out on Twitter, and I've made money. I think Liberty and I have talked about it before. We've both made money trading, and it was pretty easy to follow the technical analysis on when it first started kind of running. I haven't gotten back into it. I figured why be greedy. I've gotten, I did pretty well in it, so I kind of just let sleeping dogs lie, so I don't get burned and get back any profit. So,
No,
but yeah, I
I
mean,
feel
there's
that one.
money. There's money to be had in all those types of coins, right?
I
So
will say
there's money to be had.
The Suka one is pretty easy to time, and I love Patty to death. But just watch his tweets, and every time that usually around him saying like, you know what, this is it, this is the one, the Suka coin of all.
Yeah.
But I mean, honestly,
I'm back in
I
it.
see. There you go. He's just waiting on the
Yeah.
tweet.
I'm ashamed. I'm ashamed of myself, but I'm back in it.
Liberty.
Smart man, smart man.
Liberty sent me a message at like midnight. I think he had a couple of whiskeys in him. He's like, I'm buying Suka.
I
Well,
was.
why do you think he's doing these giveaways? He's been running on them profits.
I'm going back and forth myself every single night. I'm like, why am I doing this? But
Yeah.
it's just tokenomics. I mean, it just makes sense. It's just
Come on. Come
I'm not
on.
happy with myself. This is why I drink. This is why I drink.
Okay.
Suka
What if?
Yeah.
sell. That's
So
what it is. It
it's just
sells.
what if. It's always the what if.
Yeah. Oh, and Cody's right. You could literally gauge your trading off of tweets that come out and see who's tweeting about it heavily about which direction it's going, and you may just play the opposite. You'd probably be
Always.
doing okay,
Always.
right?
Yeah.
Um, but hey, let's jump into a couple of topics that we kind of wanted to get to last time, and we ran out of time. So one was competition, right? So I made a couple of notes here. I don't know if anybody's really I know we're in a bear market, and not a lot of people are really interested in doing a deep dive and research here and there. But I just saw Binance US came out with a website that allows cross-border remittance services, right? So that's strictly on a crypto platform. We I know there's cross holders from the Telfam over to Bax and what they're doing, Bax Bab. There's that, and they seem to be always comparing one another. And then the Lightning Network. I mean, obviously, we generally stay in the ERC20 world or Polygon world or whatnot, but a lot's going on in the Bitcoin market and network that we really don't discuss very often as a group here anyway. But so Coin Corner and BitNob, I hate that name, or I actually love it. It's funny, but Coin Corner and BitNob, they teamed up to create a cross-border transactions just for the between the UK and Europe to Africa, and that's strictly on the Lightning Network. So what's everybody else out there? I see that laughing face, Cody. So, what's everybody else out there seeing, and what are we getting back, and what's our guts telling us on what the competition's doing? Does Telcoin still hold that first mover advantage in the industry that they're trying to play in? I know technology wise, I would think so. Just because of what they're building and what they're releasing, but I wanted to kind of get everybody else's feedback and then also see what they're seeing in the industry as far as remittance services that are popping up. We all know about the box stores, the MoneyGrams and all those Western Unions, of course, and they're diving into blockchain technologies too. So we got to watch those competitors. But what's some that we maybe haven't talked about, and what do you think? Does Tel still have that first mover advantage? Anybody can jump in on this one.
Yeah, I would say my biggest concern is probably the Bitcoin Lightning Network. Like the challenge there is like, Bitcoin doesn't care about compliance. They
Yeah.
don't care about regulations, right? So if the Lightning Network can actually get up to scale and do things, the way that, it sounds like the way that they want to do it. Like I read that article that I sent to you too, Steve, and I was just looking at some of the numbers, like even just remittances to sub-Saharan Africa were over 40 billion annually since
Yeah.
2020. And
Yep.
Nigeria took up like 50% of that. And essentially, what they're doing now with that Coin Corner and Bitnob partnership is they're sending pounds and euros and converting them to the Nigerian nairas, the Kenyan shillings, and the Ghanaian cedis. But like for me, like that would be the biggest concern is just like the Lightning Network. Like if we talk about from a compliance and regulatory perspective, like I still think Telcoin has like that first mover, but
Hmm.
because Bitcoin doesn't play in like that same realm of government regulation and all that kind of stuff, like that's kind of more of my concerns. Like if the Lightning Network can get up to speed and accommodate like those type of volumes on a regular basis, which I'm assuming they would be able to, that might be the play. I don't know, right?
Yeah, I mean, Bitcoin's always been a bully, right? I mean, ever since its inception, they're like, we're doing it our way, and they're waiting for compliance to come to them, essentially, if at all, right? I mean, I know there's still maxis out there that it's fuck the world, we'll do it our way, and we'll bull in a china shop type sentiment. So I feel what you're saying, man. It's concerning that I think if that continues, they're going to push those boundaries, and everybody, because it's the world-renowned cryptocurrency, right? So they're able to kind of push those boundaries, and then everybody adapts to the Bitcoin group, right? However, how does that trickle down and help companies like Telcoin, who is following compliance and maybe even setting their own levels and standards when it comes to compliance?
Yeah, and like that's what I said. Like if we're talking about compliance versus non-compliance, like that's the thing. Bitcoin doesn't care, and all other ERC20s essentially have to abide by some sort of guidelines, compliance regulation.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know.
I think
If anybody can raise their hand or even put a tweet out, just some of the other competition maybe we're missing, but just to people to see and take a look at their websites, keep an eye on who's delving into the remittance market, and who's going to ultimately be the competition for the companies that the company that we're all invested in here, and well, we're not invested in the company. I'm sorry, I detract that statement, right?
you can edit. You can edit
You
right here.
said the no word.
We're emotionally invested in this company. How about
Yeah.
that?
I do think that there's such an interesting dynamic with Telcoin, and many of the people who I've spoken to outside of, the crypto space who are business people, the first question they always ask is who's their competition, right? Like,
Yeah,
is there anybody else doing this? And obviously, being first to market was huge for them. But I think what really kind of quelled any fear of that for me was kind of how much they were doing other than just remittances, and the value that they were providing in those other areas
yeah.
was another like cherry on top. But it was really, I would really like to know, and the question that I would probably pose is like, what percentage of the business is like dedicated to the remittance side of things?
Well, and that's a
Um,
good question, because I mean, in the beginning, it was all about remittances. Right
correct.
now, we have the digital asset banking coming online, and whatever else they're doing. Fees and income generating from the pools and yada yada. So I mean, Telcoin as a whole, holistically, has morphed uh, leaps and bounds above and beyond what originally the white paper laid out, which was cross-border remittances through the blockchain. So it's a great point. I mean, there is many different arms of this octopus now that we have to contend with.
And like we're not even, I think even like we're still like at the tip of the iceberg, right? Like this whole stake and refer and, you know, quote unquote staking and what more is coming of it, right? Like this whole
Yeah.
DAO that Parker's been talking about. They're actually going to have a banking license. They've got all these other things that they're working on too. Like you said, like it started off as, you know, a remittance thing, which is still going to be, I think, a huge aspect for them. It's just, you know, what they've, like you said, have morphed into so many different areas within kind of like that financial services platform, that remittances isn't the only, you know, thing that they need to focus on now.
Yeah, well, that's a good segue. Like, there's another aspect, you know, that they're morphing into, and that's this referral staking, right? And I know, Andrew, you had a Telex community week of education, right? And you wrapped that up with a kind of a fireside chat. And we talked about in the first 45 minutes of what we thought it was. It was basically brand new at the time. So I know some people that are in this space may have not been in that one and have some interest in what we've talked about, and what I want to get others in, you know, input on how they feel about it. Some people seem to love it. Some people seem to hate it. Some people just didn't choose to participate. Right. I think Liberty, you're one of the guys that said, I just can't bring myself to, you know, whore my referral code out on Twitter and spam and try to get some referrals. So.
It's way too much. I don't have enough time to do it.
Yeah, fair.
I got
That's
4
fair.
kids. Trust me. Like when Ari said he had 40 referrals, I was like, holy crap!
Yeah.
I
You sons of, yeah, I am mad about that, Telfam, by the way.
Oh no, the beef is
yeah,
real.
Listen, I will not let this rest. I am going to put my referral code back out on Twitter a bunch of times
Oh
until
God,
I get above that son of a bitch, right? So no offense, sorry, I'm kidding, but I want more referrals than he has. That's all. So
well, good on you though, because who knows what's going to come down the pipeline, and those can be way beneficial down the road for all we know.
Well, Liberty, the one thing that Andrew and I touched base on in the spaces that he hosted was the fact is that somebody that takes your referral code could be a whale, could be a heavy trader, could do whatever, you know, crazy amounts of work on the Telcoin app eventually, and you're getting his or her fees, right? I mean, you're getting a portion of those fees. Now, I've got 38 referrals and I've got 370 Telcoins so far, so I haven't hit that lucky, you know, lottery ticket of a active, you know, day-to-day trader or a whale, or it's moving a lot of money around. But
you needed to get DB. That's what you needed.
That's right. Yeah, DB. Yeah, yeah.
DB's the whale.
DB's going to be rolling in that dough when he wins the Super Bowl, hopefully.
How many times did I tell you? Stop saying that. You can't put that out there.
I'm wishing him luck. I'll say the same thing to Satoshi.
You're still mad that you're not there. I know.
Yeah, well, I don't know what happened to that 300,000 tell in the first place. So good luck, guys. No.
Hey, just a shout out to DB. Somebody's trolling this guy.
I know, man.
Yeah, I don't know what that's all about.
Yeah, if the other Telfam here on the chat doesn't know, it seems like somebody's targeted DB. I don't know if they've somehow gotten annoyed by him or whatnot, but they've repeatedly reported him, and he's been shadow banned a couple of times, and so I don't know who's doing it or what the cause is, but he's one of the nicest guys in the community and only does good for promoting and marketing for the company. 100%. So
even a recent shout out from Mr. Worley too.
Echo
those comments. So DB, man, keep doing what you're doing. Don't worry about everybody else, man.
Yeah, and I want to see a picture of those shoes on your feet when you get them, man. So
I wanted to add to that the referral thing. Did you say you talked about it last time on the last space?
Well, Andrew hosted one for the Telex community, and
we put it out there to see if people wanted to talk about it during our Telex call, and it was like profoundly, yes, we want to talk about it.
Gotcha.
And then it was more like, okay, do we want to talk about it at the start or at the end? And we did at the start. And Steve, like you said, I think we started it off with 45 minutes out of that chat, just talking about stake and refer.
What was like the main negative towards it?
I think people just don't understand like the difference between what like typical crypto staking is, where you put assets up and just expect to return something for not putting in any work, right? And that's what most people are used to in that crypto space. But we've obviously seen that, you know, regulation and whatnot. Like again, it's, you know, harsh to put out the term Ponzi scheme, but typically, you know what, if I've got to put money in to benefit myself, and then somebody else has got to put money in to benefit themselves, like without actually doing anything, like it's eventually gonna fail. Like the whole point of it is that, you know, you gotta be rewarded for the effort of what you're doing, right? And that's kind of what
Name
this
one
new,
coin that actually worked that has staking right now.
Like
in the
staking by
traditional
itself?
sense. Yeah, in the
Yes, like
traditional sense.
single staking.
Yeah, I'm gonna give you 60% APY to give me your coins, and I'll hold on to them for 6 months. Yeah, it's that again. The big thing too with the Telcoin stake and earn is you have again full custody of those assets. You can unstake whenever you want. You could stake more whenever you want. Again, Telcoin doesn't own, doesn't control, doesn't do anything with those tokens. They are
Exactly.
100% yours, always
Yeah, and
yours, and that's the way
Ari
that
made
it's always going to be.
a good point too. There's no risk of impermanent loss, right? So I mean, it's not moving with the market other than the Telcoin you earn from transactions. However, there's never a way to lose those tokens once you earn them, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't
So
see, primarily a negative to it. I think it kind of pays back the people that are voicing, hey, go out there, use this product, use this service. And so it's a way to actively give back to those people. So, I mean, I think it's just a branch of kind of self-marketing towards like
yep.
I guess you could even say Web3, because you're basically going out there saying, hey, here's my referral code, use it, give it a try. So that's my thoughts on it.
I
Now we
think that was
will.
the best way to look at it because honestly, I know that there was a lot of people who were like waiting for some sort of single side staking that was going to actually earn you some sort of yield. But I really think that like the best way that we as a tel community, because even people in the community, I thought I like saw people pretty upset about it. It's like this was like all the work that we had done, previously for basically no reward whatsoever, like sharing and, like helping people to understand what Telcoin was, bringing awareness, bringing people in, like all of the work the community did. This was the Telcoin team being like, hey guys, we now want to open an opportunity. We've thought about it. This is the best thing for the community to reward them for all of that effort and hard work. And this is how we want to give back. And I really thought that was really cool. And I think this is a unique way to give the community what they wanted, which was single side staking, but also, reward them for being such a great community at the same time.
Well,
That
I
makes
will
sense.
drop this nugget here. Yeah, I will drop this nugget here in one of the Telegram channels. It was posted by one of the team members on Telcoin. That says, "How are we enjoying V1 of staking on the app?" So that only leads us. Everybody just jumped on that, and you're assuming that there's going to be a V2 and
That's
onward.
big. I like
So
it.
we'll see what else comes of it. Yeah, exactly. So it's. You're right, and I even myself, I didn't even take a look at that the way you just said it, and that hits right. It's all the
Well,
people
even
that's been voicing their their love of the product and marketing and sharing on Twitter and this, that, and the other. Now we have an opportunity with the biggest voices to share their referral codes and even get something back for doing all that. I mean, it's I think I don't have any problem with it. If you didn't like the program, then just don't use it. It's that simple, right?
Well,
yeah,
there's another aspect of that that's so interesting to me as well. And that's like if you think about what all of these major exchanges make their money on, what is it? Trading fees. And the
Yeah.
volume as it comes in, it's astronomical as like these exchanges grow. Like imagine Binance earning 34% on, like all the people you told to use Binance and all
Right.
of those
Right.
people's trading fees on Binance, for them trading. Like Imagine that's the kind of bigger vision. Instead of it just going all to the exchange, you are also making money off of that, being a part of it.
Yeah.
Keep in mind too, like that's something that is not going to change, because I even asked that question to Parker. I'm like, well, like, because I think a lot of people got excited at the onset that like, oh, single staking, oh, what's the APR, what's the return, right? So they thought of it in that traditional sense. So they typically or really just took, anyone's referral code without like really thinking it through and really understanding the whole program. And now, if you're not able to change who that referee is, like essentially if you're using that app for the next 2, 5, 10 years, you're essentially giving that person a percentage of your fees, where you could have strategically done it where it's at least a buddy or a family member or somebody else, and then like essentially you're paying each other to kind of use the app in that sense, right? So like I think a lot of, and to that point, like I think maybe that's why you guys have so many. I only have like 10, but whatever, not a big deal.
Yeah, well, 10. Come on, man. No, I'm
Loser.
kidding.
What a loser. Probably because
No,
I'm Canadian.
but again, like I tried to explain in the last space, was you hit on one guy that's actively trading.
That's all it takes. That's really all it takes.
Exactly. Like
Because what did you say you were at? How
I have
many?
38 right now.
Yeah. But like rewards wise, what are you at?
370 Telcoins. So I think it was like 80 cents.
So I'm at 230, and I've got a third. So like the referrals actually doesn't really matter. It's more about how often that person is trading.
Correct.
I think I got
it's
a good
who that
trader
referral is. Oh, you hitting?
I think so, because I only have like a million Telcoin in there, just like staking it, giving it a try.
Yeah.
But I think I've had it. I'll give you some stats on mine real quick. Yeah, $2,000 worth staked. I have 26 referrals, and I can claim 8,500 Tel. And
Shit,
that,
look at this guy.
yeah, so that's been since the day it came out. So I was thinking about dropping some more in there. I mean, I'll give you updated stats on it. I won't claim it. I'll just see how much it goes, and we can run some numbers.
Well,
Andrew.
Cody, you look at the schedule. Look at the reward schedule, because that million was a break point, right? I mean, so the bang for the buck after a certain amount, it didn't seem much in line with me.
I think
it was an astronomical amount more.
Yeah,
like I only did 250,000. I think that was still like 32 or 34%, and then like you had to basically go to a million to get an extra 2%. Like you have to 4x like the amount of money that you got put in there to get an extra 2% on those trading fees.
I mean, that's not.
Can I ask a question about that? Are you guys using the Telcoin app to trade actively right now?
No, I don't.
No,
yeah, if I'm being honest, no.
Yeah, me neither. And it's not because I won't. It's because it's just a bear market, and my trades are very cautious in the first place. And it's usually when I have a good feeling about it, and it's stuff that's not in the Telcoin app. So
yeah, I'm pretty much the same on that one.
I would actually even bring up like this as a conversation, as I think, and I don't want to overspeak or speak for anybody. I think like I saw Hamad's in here, like she's been in Discord, like kind of just talking to the team a little bit, and like even at like 0.7%, like is there going to be a point where like there's a cap on that? Because like if you're trading, $10,000, just as an example, like that's a $70 trading fee, where if you do it just on 1 inch, like we're talking, it's pennies, right? Like does Telcoin get to a point where they have sufficient liquidity where you can accommodate a $10,000 trade where you have like very little slippage? Because at one point, like we're going to get there, right? Are they going to be expected to pay $70 per transaction?
yeah, there's no way. There's no way. I mean, nobody would use the platform, right? So
well, again, the whole trade money smarter. Like they've always said that send a $200 remittance for what is it, $2.40 or whatever the number is, which is obviously a lot cheaper than Western Union or MoneyGram, right? But like if we actually want Telcoin as a decentralized exchange to succeed, like those fees can't stay at 0.7 or whatever for forever. Like so maybe it's just the initial onset to get things going while volumes are lower. But as things progress, like for me, like if at this point using Polygon, like even like a couple dollars, like you'd almost want to switch.
Yeah,
but
I think that
and do it
also
yourself.
those NFTs could, maybe play a role, with the council stuff. Maybe, I don't know too much. I haven't really looked too much into that. I just saw where there was a couple different types that were created, and so maybe that's one of the possible scenarios is people that are part of that council will then be able to vote or adjust the rate, just like a normal DAO would.
Yeah.
I also to add to that, I just look at it as like, Telcoin's more of the Swiss Army knife of like, I guess you could say mobile remittances. So like obviously they're onboarding you into crypto, getting those low fees, and then also it's letting you connect right to mobile money services. So I think that's where they kind of succeed over maybe, a Binance. I could see like Binance just even reaching out to them,
the full integration for sure
yeah.
is a huge asset, right?
Mm-hmm.
And partnering up with all the MNOs and all these mobile providers, like that's going to be a huge asset down the road. But the comment was more just on like, can they sustain like that rate of a fee for trading if we start to get institutional investors using the app, or even like down the road, like are we going to see like a web-based DEX version of like the Tel app, like Tel Exchange? I don't know.
Yeah, I was like wondering if we're gonna get charts or anything like that. Because if they're wanting to do that, I'm on there trading.
I've mentioned it to Josh like so many times. Like we got to see charts in the app if we're going to be trading it, right? Like I love how they've got that on the website now in like that assets section, but like that section needs to be on the app 100%.
It's gonna be like the 1 inch of mobile remittances.
Yeah,
let's go.
Dude, let's go.
I do notice that Telfam guy has been up for a while patiently.
Yeah, Telfam, how you doing, man?
Let's give him the floor.
What's going on, guys? I know like a lot of people were upset with the like the single-sided non-staking referral fee, as they call it, but is that not, unless I'm missing something, isn't that how they kind of almost set up these MNOs, where I know they're using them, but it sounds like, depending on how many customers you have, here's 2 billion Telcoin, and they were basically going to sit back and just reap the rewards of all those trades and whatnot. And that's, I think, maybe more what people are kind of thinking was going to happen to them too.
Yeah, I could see that definitely playing out with like some of their partners if they're getting their customers on and they're using their own referral. Like I don't know if one of their partners is going to have a Tel app to have a referral code. Like if that's the case, then if they can do that and get that referral and then maybe use any funds that they get for further promotions or marketing, to get more people involved.
Right.
Like it's definitely a cycle that can continue. I just don't know if it's going to be able to be set up where a specific MNO is going to be able to singularly have like one account or a one app that they can use a referral code to get all of those referral fees. I don't know if that's going to be the case or not.
And whether
it's a great question.
Term it different with them, because I know they are using them as a, however you want to call it, a validator, a security, a this. They're technically almost in a way a partner, that instead of being called a referral for them or whatnot, they're actually being paid for their services.
Yeah, the node validation. Yeah,
right.
And I think there is a certain amount of funds that are put aside for that node validation, and it all depends on I think the amount of like your customer base. And if somebody knows more about this, please speak up. But
not I.
No.
Yeah, so, I think I need to do a little bit more of a deeper dive into Rivendell or not Rivendell, but
yeah, me too. I mean, it's been like this last piece, right? That everybody's kind of, they come up with stories or how it's going to work or think it's going to work, and none of us are, I think, have taken the time to really deep dive on that. I mean, eventually we will. We have to, right? We have to understand how all that's going to integrate, how it's going to affect the community, how we're going to take advantage of whatever comes out of it. So that day needs to come eventually. So
I just know that
is the piece. That is the piece.
Yeah,
I feel like at this point, because I mean, with whatever they're going to do with the bank and whatnot, I feel like the not Rivendell is basically what we're waiting for, basically.
Didn't Parker refer to it as the Telcoin network?
Yes.
Yeah,
that's the official name of it.
So
They've
for
never
me,
officially come out
they've
and said
never
it, but they
released.
said it on Discord. Yeah.
Oh, really? Okay. That's
And that was Paul himself. Paul
yeah.
himself said
It
it
was
was
Paul
the
that said it. Yeah, I
Telcoin
think it was in that comment where he said, "Parker, take notes on the tokens that we're going to add," which could be something that we talk about too. But as a big Lord of the Rings fans, I really hope they keep the Rivendell name. But whatever.
It's where it all begins, boys. It's where it all begins.
The one ring to bind them.
I think for me, like what I have experienced with Telcoin is anything that they've released, I have never been disappointed. I have actually been blown away by how much more than I could have ever imagined was like coming. It's like it's like they're working on things in such secret, and we just don't even we're seeing the tip of the iceberg with everything
Yeah,
that
there's
we
a lot
see.
more thought that goes into everything that they do that I think the community just doesn't understand, right? They want something where, the token is going to appreciate 400% in like 2 days, and they just want to make money. But like, this is
Yeah.
something that is
The
such
DGens want a
bigger.
DGen.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Don't
but
flood my
we've
bags, Steve.
yeah, don't fuck my bags. Well, that's Cody's line,
Oh,
but
that's Cody. That's
I've
Cody.
stolen it.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I was gonna. I
No,
was
but
gonna.
we've talked about that, the difference between just a pump coin and something with the technicals or the fundamentals
Well,
behind it,
the
right? I mean,
longevity of
it's
it too, right? That's the thing.
correct. Yeah, we're 5 plus, just past 5 years into this token now, right? And a lot of us have been around from inception or just soon after. So the fact that they're still around, still building, still releasing, still adding to their wallet holders, still adding tokens to their now app. I mean, the progression is there, and that's why I always argue on Twitter specifically is like, if anybody has any type of FUD that they want to talk about, please let me know, because I'm sure it's just a misunderstanding. You can't argue their constant releases, and maybe they're slower than you would like, and maybe this was all supposed to happen in 12 months, and we're all supposed to be multimillionaires because of it. But come on, the fact that they've slowly built this network, and like we mentioned earlier, even if we go back to how it's kind of it's turned into a dynamic progression where they've now got multiple arms of an octopus, where before it was just kind of one path forward. Now they're taking on all these different types of animals and building them out. Digital asset banking is crazy to me that they're even
And they're
accomplishing that.
hiring
Yeah,
like crazy in a bear
exactly.
market. In
Yeah,
a
exactly.
bear market.
Right, right.
And don't get me wrong, they're definitely building. But I think even like my point about how the not Rivendell is basically the big thing coming, because even the extra coins that were released today didn't even really show like a blip on the chart. You know what I mean?
It didn't. No.
It's like these they're big things they're building, but they're almost, I think people are almost onto the fact that like that's not what we were waiting for.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's a good point. Yeah, because
Well, and
they
you
Well,
talk
it
about
probably explains why when Tel does moon, we fucking moon
Right.
yeah.
within day. Like there's investors that come in and be like, "Oh, here's Telcoin. Well, Jesus fucking Christ, yeah, I'm gonna throw my fucking money into this."
It shot up. Yeah, it
We
shot
put
up
1,000x
5 cents.
in a week or something like
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah. It
Guys,
went
I
from
reminisced on the screenshots of my portfolio, like the daily 24% increase, and it
oh
was
yeah.
retarded.
Oh, I was sending them daily to like all my family members, rubbing it in their face. We're like, I told you should have bought. So,
It just kept going. It really did. And then it
yeah,
got to the point to where it was
yeah,
like, shit, man. Like,
yeah, yeah. It
and
just
this
kept
Christmas
going.
was a little bit different, eh?
Yeah, this
yeah.
Christmas
Well,
was a little
what
different.
it makes you second guess. Like, okay, do I want to maybe take some money out of this Telcoin and put it in like the shit coin to see if maybe I can make some money? But then you might miss the the pump, and when Telcoin pumps, Jesus Christ, it pumps.
Yeah, you got it, man.
And even with that post today, like I said, with the extra coins, our last present before the end of the year, which apparently doesn't mean Europe. So
No, yeah. Hey, Crypto Panda, and I know I turned you into a speaker a while ago. How you doing, man?
Oh yeah, no worries. Doing well. Thanks for putting these on, guys. Sorry, I've been out of pocket here for a bit.
Oh, no
Just
worries.
had a couple of well, maybe some comment and some I more or less maybe question my own ignorance, but as far as stake and refer, two pieces to this. One that I've been thinking about. You mentioned V1 earlier in the call, and it kind of made me think about positioning from the standpoint of when we're thinking about legislation that's been ongoing, with whether it's SEC lawsuits against people, or whether it's thinking about when LB 649 is going to be fully rolled out here soon. I think that when it comes to the staking position as a kind of a part of the value proposition, we have to keep in mind that I think Telcoin is really doing a good job in figuring out how to maintain that regulatory compliance value prop first and foremost, as opposed to some of the things that others have criticized about single side staking and all of that without putting in any work. So I think in that regard, I think we need to kind of be patient, and let the process kind of happen, especially with all of the regulatory stuff that looks like it's starting to come together, and then of course with FTX and that whole debacle. Now, that being said, maybe my own ignorance in this piece, but what would be the I guess what would be the downside in anyone's opinion let's say I've got X number of tel on the wallet, right? And let's say I just want to stake 8 million tel and leave it there, not worried because I know that I can unstake it. If you're able to unstake it fairly seamlessly and there's no impermanent loss issues, what would be the downside to just more or less maxing out, leaving it there, and just going about your day?
At first glance, I
Yeah.
don't
So
even really think there is much of a negative outside of like you not putting your referral code out there to try to get as many people involved. I mean, that's just from
Yeah,
my
that's
first
it.
glance. It seems as if like, dude, if you can literally kind of single side stake again with the asset that you like, and it's basically just kind of a way to, I guess at first glance say that it's a give back, to the community, for showing people the application and getting them involved. I don't see it, but I hope someone can actually pinpoint it.
I'll put my Telex hat on as I normally do too, right? Like you're gonna have to have a balance too, because like those fees that you're gonna get from the stake and refer aren't going to be as much as you're going to get by putting those assets into Telex, right? And again, there's that risk versus reward. But where do you want to draw that balance, right? I think even looking at the rates, like it's up to I think 5 million. So to stake and refer, like, so would it make sense to even put in 8 because you're not getting a benefit from those extra 3 million going in, right? So how can you use those extra 3 million tel to your benefit? Yes, you can put it into telx with a little bit of risk of impermanent loss, but if you have strategies in place to mitigate that risk, or to pull out of those pools when tel hits a certain price or whatever, right? You can get a little bit more bang for your buck, right? So it's all about understanding that balance. And like we've said, like this is only the first instance or first part of staked tel, right? There's going to be more things that come from this, and it's just going to be a balance of how do you diversify your specific tel portfolio, not necessarily your crypto portfolio, but like how do you diversify your tel portfolio, and how do you want to allocate it between telx, stake, earn, and all that kind of different stuff. So
Sounds like a little
Yeah,
gamification,
yeah.
like in a
Well,
good way
You
though.
know what I just thought of? You know what I just thought of as well with the staking? You know how that they also had talked about a debit card as well? Well,
uh,
most payment providers like charge a fee, like credit card providers charge a fee when you make a transaction, and that fee is paid, and those transactions will obviously pay those. Do you guys think that they would integrate, like when it comes to a payment processing system, do you think that they would integrate that, and that would also be part of what rewards you would get as well?
To me, that sounds more like the Rivendell kind of node validation. Like if it's going to go through their customers through their app, unless like it's specifically going to go through like the Telcoin debit card and it's going through Telcoin as the bank, then yeah, that's
correct.
possible.
Yeah.
But
That's what I'm saying.
yeah, I don't know.
Because
Like
imagine you earn fees on every transaction that somebody does using the Telcoin app, like a credit card.
Yeah, that like if you have reoccurring monthly payments, and yeah, if someone uses your referral code, yeah, it's definitely possible that you can get paid on every one of those payments. Yeah.
I wish
Like for
I
me,
would.
like
I
when
wish they
this
would just tell us what the fuck they're doing. How about that? If they just lay it out, who cares? You know, there's no worry about people stealing their idea. Just tell
no
us. Come on.
transparency in this
Yeah.
world
No.
anymore.
Yeah.
Where do they
Well,
get off?
does that make more sense then when they do get the bank going and they do have a debit card where, I use my certain credit card because I receive points that I can
Yep,
use towards whatever. So
for sure.
in that way, I feel like it's not exactly the same thing right now, like the referral fees, but it's kind of single. I mean, it's not single-sided staking,
I
but
mean,
it's
think about it.
referral rewards.
Yeah, think about it. I mean, I use 90% of the time I'm using my Amazon card on Amazon because I get 5% cash back on everything you buy, right? For the Prime members, the Prime card. So that reward in and of itself drives my purchasing habits, is because I want that cash back. It's the stuff I'm going to buy anyway, so if they can build something into their own product and on top of giving back some of those fees to the community that's staked or whatnot, that would be fucking
Well, wasn't
amazing,
it
right?
supposed to also be the mobile providers? So like you were supposed to, when you'd purchase or put money on your phone through the mobile provider, if I understood that correctly back when they were talking about that.
Yeah, that was for the payment processors, right? In other countries, I think. I don't think that had anything to do with it, like a debit card. Maybe it did. Maybe, I don't know.
Isn't that what Rajesh was from MasterCard?
MasterCard, that's
Yeah.
right.
I mean, you could also see it as like kind of like a CRO with crypto.com, Same, they had kind of like a cash back, just paid back in CRO.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. We were doing that for a while, weren't we, Cody?
Yeah, that was pretty sad
Yeah.
because I ended up getting that one card and then it ended up pumping up so high. And I was like, I didn't even get my card yet and I can't unlock. I was like, this isn't fair.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Um, no, but I think it's a great conversation on that, man. I wish that we knew more and it wasn't second guessing or just assuming what was going to happen. But I mean, we can all put our opinions in here and try to piece it all together, and hopefully, we hit on some of it, right? If we, it's just like gambling. We're not going to win every time, but if some of these ideas and opinions hit, I mean, good power to us, right? So,
Well, that's where the bank thing kind of confuses me a little bit, because most of these other coins and stuff, when they're getting in trouble, is the lending part of it. So you think bank, oh great, lending, it's a act like as a normal bank, but the lending part is what other places have gotten in trouble with. And if I am in control of my own coins and I hold them, then what do I need a bank for? So it's kind of,
yeah.
Well, it's more, I think, from the lending perspective, it's lending out to other people that need it too, right? Because then at that point, like you can set what your interest rate is, and you can be competitive within the marketplace depending on what other people are setting their interest rates at.
Well,
Like I
and
know
let's be,
Bitcoin has something set up now too, and I can't remember because I follow Marty Benton, and he had something recently in one of his newsletters where it spoke specifically to like a lending protocol on like the Bitcoin, whether Bitcoin or Lightning, but like it sounded pretty like legit, where it's like full assets, like not self custody, but like it was like a third party. So like nobody had once it was put into the smart contract, like it was on a time lock, and then essentially like you needed to pay back with interest at the end of that time lock.
well, let's not kid ourselves that they didn't get in trouble because of the lending. They got in trouble because of their degen trading while lending out
well, yeah.
their
Yeah.
out
Oh,
their
there's
cash
that.
too,
Yeah.
right? So, yeah, it's those fuckers, yeah, absolutely. We won't even get into that ball of worms, but yeah, it's not because of the lending. If they did it the right way, they'd probably be okay, today. So, so one
Hey,
of the
I'm gonna plug something real quick.
Go, Liberty, go.
Hey, there's a giveaway going on right now. Go to my handle, Telcoin Telcoin Shop. Screenshot yourself in this spaces right now. You'll be entered into the drawing. Right now it's the Bluetooth speaker giveaway. But I'm not totally tied down to that. If you want something else, let me know. If it's in this in the same kind of price range, yeah, screenshot this, send it to me when we talk. If you want something else, I just added over 20 different products in the last hour since we've been on here.
Oh yeah,
Point and
nice.
DFX products. So I'm just
Liberty
gonna
feeling
plug that.
generous. Get in there and get it.
Let's go.
Yeah, let's go.
2 cents, baby.
No, we appreciate that, man. Just bringing more exposure to these Telfam spaces, doing a giveaway and whatnot. It's a lot of fun. You got some fun products on there. You saw my stupid little promo video for you today, like the socks and the.
No, I loved it.
Yeah.
Loved it. I wasn't sure what you were doing, but I loved it.
The fact that you ran over your phone with your car, I was dying.
Listen, I bumped it. Everything was fine. It's okay.
You had a good shot of
commercial?
the sky for a while.
Yeah. I know. Yeah, I thought it came out pretty funny.
That undercarriage was filthy.
I know.
No,
I know.
I appreciate it.
I was
Steve.
embarrassed of that. Yeah. Yeah, but I got all 3 products in that one video, Liberty. So I was trying to do you a solid there.
It's much appreciated. But yeah, no. Again, I haven't even everything that goes into this thing. I'm doing straight to giveaways. Like I'm not. This isn't a profit sharing. Like I'm not taking any. To be honest with you, I haven't taken anything out yet because my bank won't accept it. I think I have to do a whole new bank account to even accept this because this is technically a business. So I have to set up a whole new bank account. So I'm going through Shopify. So everything's still on Shopify because I can't withdraw any money from it right now.
So set yourself up a trust or an LLC and run everything. Sell your house to your trust. Just saying.
Yeah, no. Well, I might DM you for that because this is it's kind of frustrating because nothing will come out right now. But but it's all right. I've got about $600 sitting on the side that I will be running into giveaways right now.
Balling, hell yeah, man! Awesome.
The man,
we appreciate it.
Love it.
But
somebody's going to be a cool.
It's a good way to. It's a good way to entice people to come into these spaces and get involved and whatnot. And I think
when you're going to start accepting Telcoin,
dude. I know that there's some apps that will integrate with Shopify that I can do that with, but I just haven't looked into it yet. There's a lot that I know I can do with this, but I'm in the beginning stage.
We're gonna keep asking until you get it done. So every 2 weeks you'll be on notice.
Well, 2 weeks you're gonna get the same answer. Like,
I love how they just don't even care that we use their logo. Like they just say, "Hey, IP rights, you guys got them. They're yours."
I have looked into this a lot. And
we have talked to team members. We've made sure everything was kosher. Yeah,
I love that. That's my favorite thing in the world. They're like, do whatever you want with it.
I could only assume that eventually that's going to stop. But eventually they're going to
when they get big enough, I would imagine that would stop. But right now, it's just kind of just like I got to imagine they're seeing this as like, okay, you're helping us out.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know, man. Like I don't know about that. Like they want to stay decentralized. Why would they take that on?
Yeah, it's a good point.
They're very community focused, community forward. If you're putting in the work to get that money or whatever to put that stuff forward, why not let you keep doing it, man? It
And
really benefits everybody.
Paul's happy with his face on the crotchy Runchy.
Yeah, well, I reached
I
out
can't wait
to
to get those.
Cody. I reached out to the Telcoin team and whatnot, and they said, as long as I make sure that I let people know that I'm not associated with the actual Telcoin
Correct.
team, then all is well. But and I'm not. Trust me, I'm not. Would be dope, but I'm not.
Yeah.
Maybe one day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh
Well,
man, that's good stuff, man. No, we certainly appreciate it. So, I mean, just running through the gamut. I mean, especially in this bear market, I think we've all taken an approach of trying to assist where we can, right? And it's these spaces. It's the Telcoin shop. It's DB on the drums, just throwing out hilarious memes all the time, right? I mean, Andrew with Telex stuff. I mean, there is so much activity in the community within this circle. They can only look at it as a benefit, right? Especially now even they kick out this staking, and all of us that have been kind of the mouthpieces for the community through this bear market, we're the ones getting the referrals, right? So it's almost like a benefit back to what Parsival said. It's the guys that have been doing this, and some people are having challenges getting referrals, but that doesn't mean you won't. I mean, just get on Twitter and share your referral code and tell your friends and family, right? I mean, it's all going to benefit you in the long run as the app grows and the transactions grow and everything else. So, but good stuff, man. It's awesome. So Liberty, that Bluetooth speaker, if somebody wants something different, just to clarify, they can just reach out to you
yeah,
and
no. If whoever, if you screenshot this and you share it in the original post that I posted, yeah, we'll talk. If you want
okay.
something else, and I to be honest, I wouldn't want the Bluetooth speaker. I just thought that was something different, and I threw that shit out there.
I mean, y'all got a glimpse of some
I'd
dope.
rather have a hat or something,
Y'all got a glimpse of some dope ass socks today, so I'm just throwing that
I
out there.
I want those rocks.
I
Yeah.
added some random shit today. I added some ping pong balls, golf balls, and hockey pucks. There's a whole bunch of random shit on the site. So,
Hockey pucks. Now you're talking my language, Liberty.
Yeah.
yeah,
Hey,
and
the hockey pucks are my
part
language
of the team.
Let's
too.
go.
Don't you know?
Yeah, so let's
Hey,
let's dive into the new assets added to the Telcoin app. There's a couple on here that I'm not aware of. I mean, I kind of got my bags packed and my sweetheart few there that I kind of play with, but LDO, Lido DAO. I'm not sure of that one. Anybody familiar with it?
Yeah, I took some like simple notes, and people want to speak to it more, but I kind of just looked it up. So number 44 at CoinGecko in terms of market cap.
All right.
Essentially, what it is simplified staking. So again, I'm not going to go into the specifics on it because I didn't really do that much research on it. But looking at the numbers, they've got nearly 6 billion staked, $250 million paid out to over 240,000 stakers.
I think it's the largest staked ETH, isn't it?
Oh, ST. Okay, I see it now. Yeah, I got
Yeah.
you.
So again, like obviously a pretty big asset being, number 44. So within the
Yeah,
top 50. That's big.
yeah, right on. I know Ocean. I think there's some holders of Ocean within the Telfam community. Actually, I know
Yeah.
that data and analytics, right?
Yeah. I was just gonna say, yeah, that one's number 262, and I basically just put in there all things data and analytics
Yeah.
by the looks of it. Yeah. And then the next one I think most people would be pretty familiar with Sushi.
Yep.
And then the other one there was Vulcan Forged, PYR. So just looking into that one quickly, it's a P to E, play to earn kind of token, where you earn lava tokens through, I guess, gaming, and you would get NFTs and stuff like that, and you'd be able to swap and trade on their marketplace and stuff like that. So interesting. Number 279 on CoinGecko as at the start of our spaces today.
I mean, all top 300 coins, right? So,
Yep.
not a bad swing.
Nothing that I think we looked at. Like when I did that poll from the Telex community, I don't think any one of these were a part of it. But I'd have to go back and double check. Maybe sushi, but
I wonder what the play is here, right? I wonder what the team's play is here with these tokens. Obviously, there's always something behind it, right? Sushi makes sense. Sushi makes sense to me,
especially if that wasn't like one of the top ones that even Paul came on the
on Discord.
Yeah, on Discord, it was just like, tell me which coins. Let's get ahead of this, opportunities while we can. And then he didn't add any of the coins that we thought we might want to see.
Go figure, right? Straight up fucking same old from Telcoin, right?
Here comes the slow drip of that.
Yeah. Let's throw him a bone.
We gotta figure out, the crazy puzzle behind this stuff now.
Guys, I don't want to like take us too far off track of what we're talking about with the coins, but the first question you asked me about my TA on Telcoin, I was just looking at the chart and just kind of was looking on here. I follow, for my macro strategy, I follow the KISS method. It's a very simple method. It uses the Heikin-Ashi candles. And the reason why I'm saying this is because I just looked at the Telcoin chart on the monthly, and we got if you pull up a chart, and I'll take a picture and post it on the spaces, but we just got the buy signal for the bottom of it turning around, which is a green Heikin-Ashi on the monthly, and we're about to close a second one here now. That for me is really, really bullish from a macro perspective. And again, this is like on a monthly time frame. And the higher the time frame for the strategy, the more accurate it is typically. So something to be excited about potentially.
Well, it looks like a traditional double bottom, right? I mean, we hit
absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, back on December 17th, I think. Yeah, 17th, we hit the same price.
I don't think we'll see as vertical of a movement upwards, but when it comes to this style, it definitely typically is pretty accurate.
I feel like I gotta get that TA for Dummies book out real soon.
Yeah, what do you say, Cody? What do you think?
Sorry, you broke up. What was the end of it?
Oh no, I just asked what your thoughts were on this TA that we were just talking about.
Shit, no, I'm just listening, man, taking notes. I mean, I was just
worried about the raccoons.
Yeah, man, dude, they're all over the place. But no, I was just looking at the as well at like December 17th, and I was just trying to do some math on it too.
So hey, while I got your attention, Cody, let's talk a little bit about what you're seeing on Matic and specific. Yeah.
Before we go into that, I just wanted to mention too, like I didn't notice any of the new pools with like those assets in there.
Oh yeah, good point.
So I did a test swap on the app just to kind of see where it would route, just out of curiosity, and it actually routed through Quick Swap, and I traded Tel for Ocean just for shits, and it went Tel to Matic to Ocean all through Quick Swap. Just FYI, so people know.
Okay, no, that's a great point. Yeah, let me see.
I just wanted to make that comment before we moved on to the new one.
Yeah, I was going to say, how about any others? Did you test any others? I wonder if we should.
No, I didn't. I just did that one just to see, because like I know that like typically with a new asset, like they create typically a new pool, like an 80-20 pool, right? Yeah. And if it's going to be an 80-20, it's got to be on Balancer, because Quick Swap only does 50-50s, or at least they used to. I'm not sure what it's like now, but I didn't see any new pools on Balancer. I was assuming like these 4 new assets would be part of like the generalized incentives. And from previous conversations with Parker, he's mentioned that each kind of group would never have more than 15. And we have 11 now. They added 4. That's why I thought like, okay, well, the math works out. Okay. But then I went on Balancer, didn't see any. So I'm like, okay, well, how are they routing this through? Because essentially they want to have most of the trading volume flowing through Telex, but these particular assets aren't flowing through Telex at the moment.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's something to note, and I'm gonna maybe run through some test transactions with the others and see how they route. Um, Likely the same, I would assume, but who knows?
Yeah, could be sushi, could be anybody, could be 1 inch.
Yep.
Who knows where? Well, I guess 1 inch
Yeah.
is an aggregator, not necessarily a protocol, but
Yeah, but so Cody, I wanted to bring you back up. I mentioned in my kind of a preview video I put up on YouTube concerning what's going on with Polygon, right? And I know Telcoin obviously is utilizing Polygon, but specifically things that were, especially on the NFT side, the things are starting to now migrate over to Polygon, specifically from Solana. And I know it's a recent endeavor that you've gotten into on the NFT side with the Solana chain. But what are you seeing there, and what's causing the migration? Is it just Solana's, uh, their lack of building? What's going on Solana that's making people jump ship and move to chains, back over to Polygon?
Well, thanks for the question. And,
Yeah.
I think that a lot of it is that, you know, let me just like go towards Polygon for a second. Like, Polygon doesn't really have I guess, a strong NFT community presence or anyone that's kind of like
Right.
taking the charge on that. And so I think that when you look at Solana's, and I've recently gotten to Utes, which is obviously my PFP picture,
Yep.
and the way that Frank, which is one of these creators of the project, is seen in the Solana community is he's a builder, man. He's a real good like hype person to really get behind a product, and I think that you know other protocols or other chains, I mean, kind of like Polygon, came to them saying, hey, maybe you should come over here. We'll give you a grant to work with us, blah blah blah. And you're starting to see that people are starting to jump ship, I guess, from Solana. And I mean, I think it has a lot to do with, the recent FTX, lighting, or debacle, and how they have like 12% of the tokens locked up. So you could look at it as like a
Mm-hmm.
Mount Gox to Bitcoin scenario, right? How long is it going to take before those tokens trickle out into, the liquid market, right? So it's already like seeing below $11. It's been constantly bleeding since then. I think since the FTX thing. So, I mean, I think this year they had like EVM compatibility, so you can see them branching out into other chains. But I think that you're just starting to see that there's more opportunity on other chains that are like kind of like I don't know that are willing to be connected to Ethereum at the get go. So it's kind of like an ADA situation, or maybe even just some other non EVM compatibility chains. They lack that initial. Because most introductions are becoming, at a level of Ethereum and, barely like even Polygon. So you're just seeing people move out, branch into other things where there's opportunity, there's grants, there's people that can actively build right now. And I think it makes sense from a longevity and business standpoint if you're trying to create a project.
You being involved on the Newts NFT community there, how's the community responding to the transition or the news of a transition upcoming?
I mean, it's kind of checkered. I mean, most people are supportive of like Frank, himself. Again, he's like a young builder, and it's great to see what he
Mm-hmm.
can kind of do and the ideas that he's bringing forward and his style of marketing. Because it's kind of like those young ideas, like I guess you could say like a young Steve Jobs or something like that, and is just like trying to inspire people or take the next step. I guess you could say, and I don't know. Some people, I think it's a good move. Again, if you're trying to, this is your project, dude. We're
Mm-hmm.
willing to support you. In the things that you create, and so I think that as long as you keep being who you are, stay humble. I mean, just be yourself, right? And you've already
Yeah,
showed us what you can do. Keep doing that same
yeah.
thing. And build out these partnerships. And I think the rest is history.
Yeah, and the reason I bring all this up is because there is correlation there, right? If everything that's moving over to Matic, Polygon, or new projects that are being built on Matic Polygon, I mean, it only helps solidify Telcoin's choice to, build and move forward on the Polygon network, right? I know there's still some legacy folks out there that trade on um, uh, centralized exchanges. I don't want to mention them by name and give them any exposure, but
I think
because I hate them.
honestly, honestly though, I think that it was a great move on Telcoin's, part to go ahead and
Yeah,
to branch out into that because I mean, look at Polygon, man, and I've probably said this a couple times before, but just look at their business development. Look who all these
yeah,
brands they can work with, like Starbucks, Odyssey, most recently. It's just like they're onboarding. I mean, even Reddit, right? They use those profile pictures that are NFTs now, and they get uploaded each time they're
hmm
created. So it's like there's more and more building on Polygon happening, and it's tied, directly to Ethereum, right? It has an easy on and off ramp. It gives people, the option to, kind of choose wherever they want to, I guess, play around or send money or whatever, So I think that the most it's like going to a new football team, right? It would be like someone going out there scouting, and people are kind of saying, what team should I be on right now? What makes
yeah,
sense? So, I mean, just follow, I guess you could say follow the money, who's building where, and you can see
yeah.
exactly where to be.
Yeah, and I know Matic is, if anybody out there is trying to facilitate their own projects, they're very generous in grants and stuff. So when you want to build on their platform,
They're
but
killers,
I just
dude.
think
They're
that
absolute killers. They got
yeah,
all the
yeah,
integrations to every different window. It's crazy.
yeah, and then you think about the strengthening of these blockchains, right? I know ADA comes up, now and then, right? And some of these smaller blockchains, but how long do they survive if this ginormous, easy to use, super cheap chain, layer two chain, kind of dominates the industry, right? With Matic, so it's just, again, it's correlation. The more strength we can bring to or see coming into the Polygon chain, it's only going to be better for those that are built on it.
Yeah, and I mean, one more thing I wanted to add to that Solana case, kind of having its tie and kind of listening to kind of Sam Bankman-Fried and some of the interviews he was in about talking about Solana, I kind of get the feeling that like Solana was that first Aptos, and like I think there's like some
Yeah,
correlation to there to some extent, because they're both layer ones, I believe, and so it's just I don't know, it kind of gives me the feel of something that's not really, I don't know, it just gained a presence very quickly and out of nowhere, and no one really heard of it, until like a month. And so I don't know, I kind of have speculation on that side. However, I can't deny all the successes it has, gotten or brought to this point.
yeah. I remember when I first started my day job, my 9 to 5 job, and my boss at the time, I asked him, eventually the crypto conversation comes up, like just like we all do in our own normal lives. We're always, pitching something, right? And I was like, oh, hey, you're in crypto, and talk about Telcoin and Polygon and all this other, the technologies that I really appreciate, and DFX, and then the other ones that I'm in. And then, I was talking about Balancer and the pools and yada yada. And he's like, oh, you know what? I bought a bunch of Solana, and this was, back when it was well over $200, each. And I was like, oh, all right. He goes, yeah, I heard a podcast with these four, multimillionaires. And I was like, oh, stop right there. Right. So I pumped the brakes. I was like, I don't want to hear it anymore. I had never been a fan of Solana just because of the hype that came with it. I just wasn't a fan. So as soon as he mentioned that, I was like, I wouldn't, I'd just make sure you pick your investments wisely and check myself out of the conversations.
Yeah, I mean,
That's when you hit the hookah bar.
No,
yo,
no hookah bar.
That was a different. That was a different outing.
It's a different outing, yeah. That hookah bar is coming, Cody. We only got a few more
yo,
months for
dude,
that,
I
buddy.
could barely
Yeah,
even talk the next day.
I know. It's like we went to like 8 concerts in a row.
I
Just we couldn't.
swear, dude, we sat there for like how long? 12 hours or something, just sitting there. It was
The
hilarious.
one night, yeah, we got there like 3:30 in the afternoon. We didn't leave until like 3:30 in the
That's
morning. So
that's an aggressive sitting,
yeah, yeah.
guys.
That was, dude, that was a night I had a huge conversation with a couple. It was funny because I just tweeted about it today. There were these Bitcoin Maximalist dudes, and it was just like, I don't know if you remember that, Steve. Do you remember that?
A little bit hazy, but I do
Dude,
remember it.
oh
Yeah,
yeah, I was definitely hazy, and I just remember them saying, "Well, why not?" He was just, I don't know, the way he came off was just like, "Well, why not Bitcoin?" And it's like, well, I
yeah,
mean, because there's other options. I can use other things. I see Ethereum's doing this. I see, Polygon, etc. All the things, individual things that they're doing, and then he's just like, "But why?" And it's like, okay, dude, like you're not going to let me win this conversation. I like it for this
yeah,
reason. End of story. So, I mean, I get it.
right.
Bitcoin's cool. It does its thing, but there's other things out there that just open up,
Right.
take a look at.
Let's try not try to make nonsensical arguments when we've been drinking for 12 straight hours, fucker. Right. I
Yeah,
mean,
that's true too.
so, um, but no, yeah, I don't know if anybody else is going to the Bitcoin conference. I know we've mentioned it multiple times in these spaces, but definitely Cody and I will be down there. Crypto Plato, one of our buddies, he'll be down there. I know. Not sure if anybody else is committed yet, but
No, if you're going
if you
down,
do,
literally hit us up. Hit myself up or
yeah, yeah,
Steve up, and yeah, let's meet up.
yeah. We always have a good time down there. It'll be our third year going down there, hanging out, and it is all Bitcoin, but I'm telling you, it is very knowledgeable, right? You walk away feeling like you know more about the industry, not just Bitcoin, but there's a lot of stuff going on in those town halls and the keynote speakers and everything else. It's a really, really good time. I know if I'm not a big Bitcoin fan, I am accumulating some on the way down here, but other than that, it's literally just to make a profit. I don't, I don't care about Bitcoin, but the conference is very, very uh, thorough and thought provoking, and you walk away with some serious knowledge. So, but yeah, hit
100%
us up,
agree.
man, anytime. Yeah. We did want to touch base, Andrew. Where are we at? We're an hour and a half already.
It's standard.
Yeah,
Not surprised at all.
I know.
Um,
Um,
from the list that we were kind of going back and forth on, like I think we've got two more things to touch on. I was going to touch on like the pools, and we could talk on December 7th. Outside of that, I don't know if there's anything else you wanted to touch on.
yeah. Let's bring up December 7th. So we just get to it because we tried to get to it 2 weeks ago and we never did, right? And I saw you put some notes in here, and it's more knowledge that I know of December 7th. So please, if you can speak to it a little more eloquently than I can, jump in.
Eloquently, I don't know about that, but I'll do
Well,
my best.
okay, yeah, right on.
And these notes are not necessarily from me; they are from another third party that was actually at the meeting. So they actually
Right.
registered, were part of the webinar, and actually asked a question. I think throughout the process too. So pretty cool that they have their mark, so to speak, in Telcoin history when it comes to LB649. But um, essentially what they said was that Mark Caldwell, like the lawyer there, spoke mostly on Telcoin's behalf. I think it was scheduled for like 8 hours, and it only lasted like two. Um, but they mentioned that folks at Telcoin are looking at the application are compiling all of the information that they need to have it ready to go. That once it's approved, that it's basically going to be put forward by the team to the state. Um, so essentially, some key points that came up. They obviously had some concerns about FTX, in which may put a small pause on the proceedings. But overall, sentiment was good. There were some comments about insurance security and liabilities, which again, all kind of up in the air in terms of regulation, clarification, all that stuff right now within the U.S. And then they only made comments on two of the sections out of the eight. So I think it was articles 1 and 2 that were spoken to mostly, but nothing was touched on articles 3 through 8. So that's got to be a pretty positive sign that they didn't even bring it up. That means that they're probably obviously okay with it, and things will probably most likely move forward. Um, Obviously, amendments will most likely come on those kind of articles 1 through 2. If those amendments are approved, they will be filed with the Secretary of State and go into effect 5 days after filing. So, again, not the clearest information on everything that's kind of
Mm-hmm.
going on with LB 649, but again, by the sounds of it, at that meeting. Mark was there. He was the one that spoke mostly for the team. They only commented on 2 out of the 8 articles.
So
And
it sounded more procedural than anything. Then
yeah,
yeah.
I think a lot of people got excited that like something was like being approved and Telcoin was going to be
Okay.
approved as a bank on December 10th. But it was more of a proceedings to understand. I think those 8 articles, which define a little bit more of the amendments that are going on with LB 649. So the fact that only 25% of those articles were being reviewed and noted within that time frame is pretty positive. So again, the other thing too is, people at Telcoin were involved or in attendance at that meeting, asking questions about the application and what information is going to be required and what's going to be needed so that they can be ready to go. Like as soon as that application process is ready, essentially they're going to basically have it done and ready to put forward so that they can get approved. I'm assuming first, right? They co-wrote this bill.
Yeah.
You've got to assume that they're going to be the first ones approved for it.
Of course. Yeah. Yeah. And
So,
I'd rather even
the official like timeline is now we're waiting on an official date for the public hearing, and then a date of it. Those are the 2 next official
Yeah,
timelines
there
we're
was something
waiting.
around like 60 days and 180 days that they
Yeah,
had to review the amendments. But like I said, if the amendments are approved, they will be filed with the Secretary of State. And essentially from there, once they're filed with the Secretary of State, within those 5 days after filing, it goes into effect.
right. So be on the lookout for a public hearing announcement and a date. Those are the next things we're looking for.
And I can see that happening sometime, maybe mid to late Q1 or early Q2.
No, and I'd rather talk, even if it was just procedural. I'd rather talk about it here in a group. That way, that information gets out to other folks that may have construed that as FUD, right? Or they were supposed to release something and they never did, even though we're, here we are a few weeks late. So
And a
we
lot,
did
did.
try to talk about it. Yeah, but I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I'm saying a lot did. A lot didn't hear anything from the from that meeting that happened,
Mm-hmm.
and they took it as FUD. But really, it was fucking bullish. I mean,
It was very good meeting. The fact that there
yeah,
was
it was
no like
very good.
news that came out of that, like that's
Yeah.
bullish because it was a meeting to discuss like the specifics of getting everything put forward with the application
Yeah,
process.
and they
Yes,
were
And
trying to
the
poke
less
holes.
you
There,
talk about
specifically
that,
that
the more
Telcoin
bullish
was
you
in the
are.
middle of getting that paperwork filled out right then and there. Like Telcoin
Exactly.
was on top of it.
yeah, and
Exactly.
that whole thing was to poke holes through these articles, correct? And if no holes were poked, and it only took 2 hours out of 8 slated, I'd take that as fucking bullish every day.
Yeah,
So
100%. Yeah.
yeah.
yeah,
Telcoin
Exactly.
was on top of that.
yeah,
And like people were expecting like Telcoin to put a like something, but like what was Telcoin going to put out?
There's
Right.
no
Like I
news.
think that was
There's still
part of
more
the
steps.
misconfusion, right? Is like, December 7th, they're going to get approved as, a bank, crypto bank.
mm-hmm.
But no, that wasn't necessarily the case. People
because
didn't really understand
because
what
the
that
rules
meeting was
were you
about,
have
right?
to once this was done you have to announce a public hearing and then a date of the public hearing, and then after that who knows what's going to happen, but these were the next steps, and Telcoin's all over it.
Got it. Okay, right on. No, and that's perfect. I wanted to make sure we touch base on it in this space, just because we kind of got sidetracked a little bit on the last one. We were having such a good time. And we were at like the 2 hour plus mark anyway. So we kind of passed on a couple of things that we wanted to talk about. So got those out of the way. But what's new and what's good, guys? I mean, what's open floor time? Let's chat. Who's
Yeah, I
got
was gonna
something?
say if anybody has any questions, comments, concerns, like feel free to open up, and maybe while people are thinking about jumping up, I can speak to the pools a little bit. I know we haven't really talked about it too much, but
Yep.
just looking volume
Wait. So
wise.
before you jump in there, Andrew, why don't you? How did the entire week go? You have good engagement? Was there a lot of people asking questions? How'd that
Yeah,
all go?
I thought it was good. Like the Spaces was not as engaging as I think the first one that we did. Like this was like maybe 6 months ago when we're in a bull market
Yeah.
or a more bullish market compared to the very bottom of the bear market. Like I thought it was good. I thought like for me, like the content, like it was like every day was like a 30 tweet thread. So like I wanted to be detailed to make it more educational, but like I don't think a lot of people want to read a 30 tweet thread, right? They'd rather read like a 2 or 3 tweet thread and condense it. So I think
Mm-hmm.
the next time we do it, it's going to be more, I think, bullet points. Um, and with all of the content that we put together for that, I'm going to try to build it into the actual Telex community website.
Okay.
And I still got to review my staking in liquidity providing guide, but we're going to get that up on the website soon too. So instead of going through those huge threads, it's going to be more, here's a clip, here's what it is, and like kind of just um, short form, higher impact kind of educational stuff. And then for people that want to do deeper dives, we'll just direct them more towards the website. But
Let's put up a poll. Maybe there's some, especially I know that you don't want to be doxxed or whatnot. We've talked about that. So, but you can still do video content with just sharing your screen, right? So
yeah,
maybe video content's the way to go. You just talk to it with your screen sharing, and maybe that gets more engagement. I get it. Like anytime you put out information and it gets past 2 or 3 tweets, you can see just by the engagement, just by the likes and the engagement numbers that people quickly lose interest for some reason, right? It's just
yeah,
words. So
yeah. And like even like when we hosted like the spaces last week, like again, I thought it was good. We had Jeff in there as well.
yeah,
But like there wasn't as much community engagement. And again, whether that's again bull versus bear market mentality, or if some people just aren't interested in it, I don't know. But
there's something to be
um,
said about that. I wonder how these spaces are going to look come the next bull market. How many people are
that
going to
that's
be in
yeah, that's a
here?
that's a valid point too.
Yeah,
But
we're
like
all
again,
we're all
I'm
sticking around
happy.
because we're either OGs or we're super interested in the tech. We know that it's but we know it's not a shit coin that's going to moon overnight, right? We're not going to get a pump and dump. So we're all just kind of sitting here and waiting our turns.
Well, I
No,
think
for
that's
sure.
one of the things that like really separates Telcoin from really any other cryptocurrency is it feels like they're a Fortune 500 company that just has a cryptocurrency. And like that's how they operate. It's not like, oh my gosh, if the token goes down 90%, they're going to be in fear of not being able to actually finish the project, have
Right.
the funding that they need. Like they are fully funded right now.
Hmm.
Like they have no care in the world about price. They care nothing about that. All they're focused on is building and doing what they need to do to make sure that they are here for the long run.
Yeah.
And I don't see really like any other projects that are doing real world things that have that like not like 5-year mentality but 20-year mentality.
Mhm.
Telcoin's building a multi-billion-dollar company, and potentially a $1 trillion company, if the market cap of crypto can ever get to that place. It really is doing something from like an external perspective. Take crypto out of it, like what they're trying to build really could be a disruptor in the global markets.
Yeah. Yeah, and I challenged. I don't know if it was in the last phase. Was like, tell me some projects that are building kind of in the same line of how Telcoin's going to market. Tell me who has that kind of technology and is building out what Telcoin's gotten to. Again, the argument is that it's taken longer than everybody's expected, but I always say that people that say that are typically people that don't build anything either, right? So, and it's no offense, it's just that's the way it is, especially when you get into regulation, law writing. I mean, Jesus Christ, come on. So I challenge people. I've challenged people in the past to see like what token or company that can you tell me that's actually in the same place and on the same path as Telcoin, right? It's hard pressed to find one.
And even when you when you look at what they've done in a global scale, and the most recent event, on December 7th was that little hearing that they had that was kind of in the dark because nobody could check it out. But we know that there was somebody within the Telcoin community. I know he doesn't want his name out there, but
Right.
was there to hear everything. Let's remember, Paul was roommates with the sitting governor in Nebraska.
I know.
But like,
We
get
got
the
the
global
alpha.
aspect, out of there, minimize it to just Nebraska. Paul should have that in the palm of his hand.
Yeah.
And this is what we're all waiting on. I'm pretty sure we should be the December 7th, everything surrounding that is going to be easy,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but from my understanding of what, like way back when all this got released about them doing the charter and all that kind of stuff, Paul was mentioning that they're not like trying to put, brick and mortar banks all around, all over the place. What they're doing is they're creating a wing for pretty much any bank to partner with them as the crypto wing of that bank, with the regulatory compliances and all the things, the charter that they need to actually operate and regulate within the financial realm like that. Am I mistaken in that, or am I just kind of
It's
sliding
definitely
in my
going to be separated for sure, because I think even in some of the regulatory meetings that they've had, you have to have separate, fiat regulatory and finances versus like this crypto asset depository bank, and they were specific on the language of what they used in LB 649. It is a crypto asset depository bank, right? That is going to be the wing, like you said. And whether or not like they're going to partner with other banks within, obviously we know about Battle Creek and whatnot, but like is Telcoin going to partner with some of these bigger banks to on ramp them into the crypto space? Again, we don't know, but
Yeah.
if that's the case, like bang bang boom, let's go.
Let's go.
I mean, Paul was roommates in college with the sitting governor,
Yeah.
and that's where we're at with it. That's all I'm saying. I mean,
But yeah, no, it's a
We got to
great
get
point,
both of
man.
them on some
that's
underwear now.
huge.
It's like being Elon's cousin.
I know.
I mean, I'm not
That's
saying there's going to be special privilege there, but I got to imagine. I mean, he knows how to. I mean, to do what he wanted to do, he's got to have an office in Nebraska. We've done that. We've all seen the office there. Like Telcoin has taken the steps necessary to get to where they want to be,
Well, even
and
the $10 million
Nebraska
funding
has
that
been
they
a
needed.
focal point. And we have an office there. We're making moves. We're totally making moves right now, and just like December 7th, you might not have heard about it, but I swear to God, they're making the moves, and there was a lot of fun behind that, but there was nothing but good things that came out of it.
Yeah. So I challenge anybody to come up and if you do have, you know, aggravation or some FUD. I mean, and I'm only calling it FUD because that's what it is. I beg of you to come up here and talk to us about it, because we get
Dare you?
no, I don't know. No, I'm not going that route. But we generally get the same guys up here talking, and we're all Telcoin maxis, right? So if there's a jaded view that could shed some light on why you feel that way, I would highly encourage you to come up and speak, or even just send me a DM and we can bring it up, right? It's just I don't want this to turn into just a Telcoin slappy, we're going to the moon shit, type spaces. I want to make sure that there's argument. If there's arguments to be had, we have them, and see where those weak spots are, and we can talk about it. So, and
Here's
Andrew, go
devil's
ahead.
advocate.
Yeah.
Hey, so Steve, I love where you're going with that, and I definitely I kind of feel that how a lot of times a lot of these communities just it's like groupthink, right? You know, like everybody gets thinking about something and you go right off the cliff. So
Right.
it's in my opinion, it's always good to be self-reflective, especially when we're talking about trading and investing, making sure we're always, questioning our theories and whatever our methodology is.
Correct.
One thing that I think I'll say I'll blame myself, leading in with this piece is I've talked to a lot of people about Telcoin. I think the project is amazing. One thing that I keep forgetting at certain points is that, for a lot of people who just are busy doing whatever it is they do in life, whatever their, job, day to day, whatever it may be, a lot of people just don't know about crypto. They don't understand,
Yeah.
tech even to begin with. And I think a lot of us probably also could, if we were honest with ourselves, this is a new frontier. This is a paradigm shift. This is something that is changing the way that we interact with, with global transactions from a financial perspective. Think about Facebook, as goofy as this may sound, or even back to Apple when the iPhone came out. If you said you were going to buy Apple stock before the iPhone came out and you were shilling somebody on Apple stock and you're like, the iPhone's going to change the way everybody talks on phones, you'd have
Hmm.
everybody looking at you with a deer in headlights look. Same
Yeah.
thing with Facebook, paradigm shift. I'm not advocating for either of those companies. I'm just saying that when there's a fundamental paradigm shift in the way that the world interacts with itself, and I believe that crypto is one of those paradigm shifts, I think that Telcoin is leading the charge with the regulatory compliance piece, and being very, very careful about the iterations of the releases that they talk about for very good reason, because it is a first mover advantage. It is a paradigm shift. And I do understand the argument when people say, yeah, but first mover advantage, if you're too late, everybody, yep, got it. I understand that.
Yeah.
However, there's a lot of people thinking about crypto who just say, yeah, I hear a lot about it, but I have no clue about it at all. I don't even understand what it is. And I think that it's our job, if you will, as advocates, or people who are trying to educate, to try and remember that we've got to kind of pull ourselves back a little bit. So the December 7th thing that Liberty was talking about, the FUD comes in when people are just uneducated. It isn't because they necessarily choose to, FUD a project that they may even be invested in. It's that they just
Yep.
don't understand. All right. So from a regulatory perspective, you got December 7th. What does that really mean? Well, somebody who might understand, governance and legislation and the process that takes place, just because there wasn't a big release after December 7th doesn't mean that that's not a big piece of the puzzle in the process that has to happen before you know you know globally, potentially, you know again, a paradigm shift in the way that people interact with transactions and DeFi. It's our job to say, hey, you know what, we see something coming like December 7th, we should all be going, let's lessen the expectations. Let's overpromise and underdeliver with people we're
Yeah.
talking to, and just let it help them understand the process and what it takes to get this type of. I mean, we're talking about something that's potentially globally. I don't know. I don't want to. I don't want to go crazy on
Well,
this, but I'm just
yeah,
saying
well,
I
it's
think
not.
we need
It's
to be
novel.
self-thinking. Yeah.
Yeah. When you talk about those paradigm shifts, uh, look at what's remaining that hasn't really kept pace with those paradigm shifts, right? And the one thing that stands out to me is the banking system, right? It's archaic. It still uses a two ledger system. It's bullshit, right? I mean, the entire financial industry is ridiculously archaic. So that is in and of itself what crypto is trying to, or a part of crypto is trying to uh, shift, right? When you speak of those paradigm shifts, that's what I think of when we talk about companies like Telcoin. And there's others out there that are pushing for the same financial reshaping of what we are currently used to. So there's not many left out there if you think about it. I mean, there will be. Then they'll become obvious once they're done because hindsight's easy. However, right now, in my mind, the biggest paradigm shift that remains is the financial system. So yeah, as well said, Pandan there. Yeah, really well said. So Andrew, back to you real quick. I know you had some information on the pools you wanted to get out. I know we're pushing the time here.
Yeah, no, I was just going to mention volume has kind of been around that 3 million per week range. I know
Let's
over the
go.
last
Get it up.
we're getting there.
Yeah.
Obviously, over the last couple of days, it was pretty low with the holidays, which is expected, but not too bad. Even average APR, you're looking like 35%, which like is
Still
amazing.
pretty
You're not going to get
elevated.
that at bank. And that includes Cody. Don't get mad at me. That includes the DFX numbers being at zero. So obviously taking that into account, 35%. Yeah, I'm sad about it too. We'll talk about that in January, right, Cody?
Yeah.
But again, like, do you take that out and you're probably close to, high 30s, low 40s. Obviously you've got the risk of impermanent loss, but again, if you can put some strategies, which we talked about, pretty extensively in another, 2 hour spaces that we had last week, specifically on TELX, like there's a lot of, benefit from providing, liquidity to these pools. And it's just about understanding the market and permanent loss, having strategies, sticking to them, and putting things in place, right? So,
Yep.
again, I'm not going to beat the dead horse. I know everybody doesn't want to talk about that.
No, correct. And I made a note too. Just looking at your last numbers that you published, the balancer pools, which I've fudded the last couple spaces, they're actually still performing pretty good. I mean, in relative terms, and in the midst of what you just said, a potential bottom of a bear market. I mean, the returns are still pretty damn good in those pools, right?
Like, man, if you can get 30%, you're not going to get that from a bank. You're getting what, 2% at a bank, where if you got to put a little
That
risk, you got to put a
maybe
little
in
bit of
Canada
risk.
you're getting 2%. I don't know. Like here in our checking accounts, man, we're getting like 0.05 if we're lucky. So
Oh, jeez.
yeah,
Well, I wouldn't. Yeah, I honestly, I have no idea what it is in Canada either. But
yeah.
yeah, it's probably the same. Canada
Fud,
and the
fud,
US are very very
yeah,
similar. But
yeah.
yeah,
Fud the banks. Fud the banks.
but the banks. There you go. That's now that one's yours. That you
Yeah,
can't.
that's right.
That's not Cody's. That one's yours.
That's my slogan. Yeah.
But yeah, no. Just the point is, again, like I always try to push people to educate themselves, right? Take the time, understand it, learn it. Even at the stage that we're at now, and I've mentioned it on the last spaces that we did too. Like when I thought of staking, I thought, adding to the pools was going to be what they were going to integrate to the app next.
Yeah.
And like this whole stake and refer thing took me, by surprise,
Me
threw me
too.
for a little bit of a loop. And I was like, what is this? And, kind of thing. But if I can just, reiterate to everybody is just, take the time, at least now, before it's a lot easier on the app, to at least fully understand Telex in its entirety, right? So that when it becomes easier, you're like, oh, okay, well, it's because in the back end it's doing this, right? The more educated you are, the more sophisticated you sound, the easier it is to try to talk to other people about it. The more referrals you'll get,
Yep.
the more potential benefits you get out of that too, right? So the more people you talk about it, intellectually, you know what, most likely they're gonna download the app. They might use your referral code, and from there, you're gonna benefit from it from there as well. So
Speaking of referral codes, remember I'm going
don't
to
post
post.
it again.
I'm going to post mine with while I share this recording, so I can kick Ari's
uh,
ass. I need to get above Ari. So,
hey, how about this? I
uh,
put mine in my bio, so if anybody wants to support.
you cheating bastard! You cheating bastard! All
I'm not
right,
going to post mine at all.
at all. All right, he's out. He's out. Yep.
I don't have as many followers as you or as Cody, so
Yeah.
my 10 or 11 on 1,500 followers, I'm okay. I'm okay.
Cody's a stud. I think he broke 10,000. So
No,
Is he
I'm
there
not
yet,
gonna.
Cody? You
yeah.
still there?
What, 10,000 on the rewards?
No,
No, no
on the
followers.
followers.
Yeah, actually, I did. I broke it, I think, last month, and then since then, it kind of has just been skyrocketing a bit. I think it's been ever since I got into NFT scene more on Solana, and kind of made a couple big sales. That I had that one with the Claynosaurs, and that kind of gave me a good follower boost. So it was pretty cool.
Yeah, you did good on that one, didn't you?
Yeah, that was I
Yeah.
bought 200. I bought it for $250, and ended up selling it for about 14K, which is pretty cool.
Damn.
Yeah.
Dinner's on you
Yeah.
at Big
I was
Joe.
Noted.
gonna say
Yeah, I got pretty lucky on that.
Airbnb for Bitcoin conferences on
Yeah.
Cody.
Get
Hey,
yourself
already
into
paid for.
Solana.
We're good to go.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
no,
we pay far in
no, I
advance.
will say that's the reason why I think my saving grace during the bear market really was, just exploring, different things, or taking like out of my comfort zone. And so I kind
Yeah.
of just like to see art, and it's just kind of funny how I just started collecting NFTs more and more. And so I kind of
Hmm.
see it more as and it's just funny because you can see what these NFT projects are doing, like over on Solana, just, recently seeing, and they're building these protocols out for the NFTs. So like you have your own open markets, and liquid
Yeah.
NFTs, and it's so interesting. It's just like DeFi summer, but for like NFTs and just being innovative. So
Yeah, because you're staking your NFTs and getting APR on those as well now, right?
so they're technically, I mean, they don't do the same thing for like U points, but like you get to use those as like minting, and I believe they said they're going to do like
Ah,
some other like redeemables and things like that, but I don't think it's anything
right
along
on.
those lines. But I mean, there's
So Cody,
what's up?
did you get into the Donald Trump ones?
So what's so funny is I was sitting here, I was sipping on my coffee in the morning. It was like I think like 9 a.m. or something, and I seen that it posted that they came out and they were $99, and I'm saying to myself like, dude, you know what? Just buy a couple, just do it, And I was like, it's gonna, be just like a Doge type thing or something like that, and so I said, nah, I'm not going to spend that money on. There's no way I can do this. I think it's stupid as hell. And so that shit went up to like $500 floor price. So you
I
literally like,
know, I
No, it's
know.
going up to almost 900.
oh
Nine
shit, I didn't
hundred
see that.
almost. Yeah.
I bought one. I'm still sitting on it.
Oh
I should have
shit.
should have
What'd you buy it
sold
at?
it. 99.
Oh, okay. So you're sitting on it. You're still at up. So I mean, you're good already.
What's the floor at now then?
I have no idea. I haven't even looked at it. I was because it went up
Just
to like
holding it like
800,
Suke.
and then it dropped down to like 200. I was just like, shit.
I mean,
I
shit,
lost
you're
it. I
still
lost
up.
my chance. So now I'm
Suka
just sitting on it,
2.0.
hoping it's just going to be like bull run 2000. I don't know.
Make NFTs great again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right on. All right, I'm gonna give a last ditch effort to open the floor. If anybody else has got something to say, we're at that 2 hour mark, and I don't want to I want to drag any more time out of everybody. I know we all got things to do and families to be with. So, anybody got anything?
If you're
Nope,
going
just
to,
hey, thank you guys for putting these on for everybody. It's awesome.
Oh heck yeah, man, we love it.
Love
Yeah.
it, love
So,
it.
were you saying something, Cody?
no, I was just saying, yeah, likewise. Thank you very much, guys, for putting us on and having me up. And also, if you guys, again, anyone heading to BTC Miami, yeah, hit me or Steve up. And yeah, let's meet up. It'll be a good time.
Yeah, Worley lives down there too, so hopefully we'll be able to meet up with him as well. Say hi.
100%,
So
100%.
when is it again?
It is May 15th through the. Damn it! Now you're
So
gonna.
it's like a Thursday to Sunday kind of thing?
Yeah, that's Thursday to Saturday, I think. Yeah,
Airbnb
yeah, but you
booked,
can.
tickets booked. You better get those tickets,
I
man.
told
Let's
you.
go.
I told you, book me a couch.
We got them on the
Book
couch.
your couch.
We have to have that, don't we, Steve?
Oh, bro, did you see our place? It's right on the ocean. It's like 2 stories. Yeah,
All
it's
right. Book me a
yeah.
hammock then. Whatever.
Yeah, you can sleep in the sand,
There
sir.
you Yes.
Hey, I'm not too proud, but I've done that before.
No,
Yeah,
no,
that's
definitely.
right.
You better be coming, though, man.
I would honestly love to.
Yeah, no,
Let's
so
let's
it's
try
a
and make it
super
work.
good time, man. Super good time. So,
Did you guys buy general admission, or did you guys do like the industry pass or well pass? Or
last year we did the industry pass, and then this year I think we decided on general admission because that 4 days with the industry pass was a little long,
I
right?
think they
I
got
mean,
rid of that pass, actually. I think they only have,
oh, did
yeah, I
they?
think it's only general admission and like whale pass. And I think the whale pass is just completely stupid. It's just to say, hey,
Yeah.
I have a lot of money, to be honest with you.
Like
Mm.
$1,000
Status.
to get it.
Huh?
It's like $8,000 just to even get it.
7,500 right now. You know, they still do have the industry, Cody.
Do
So it's
they?
GA, right? Yeah, GA is still 600 right now. Industry pass is 1,600, and whale pass is
I
7,500.
mean,
And the dates, Andrew, are May 18th to the 20th. So,
Nice.
yeah,
yeah, I could have sworn.
Get
When
and
that
did
that's
that
for
work?
that's for general industries. If you do the industry pass, I think that backs up a
I
day.
think we did say something
If-
about it though. Like we went there. I mean, we kind of got, it was good. It was kind of useful, but like then again, it kind of really wasn't. I mean, at the same time, but I mean, we got to talk to
yeah,
a lot of people, but mainly it was basically about like Bitcoin mining and stuff like that. So it really didn't do too much.
yeah, but there's some really cool technology there, man. They got a ton of wallet technology. Where there, I won an Arculus wallet, which is a Bitcoin wallet, which was pretty cool. It was like a credit card style wallet. So, there's just some nice swag, nice free stuff, plus all the educational content you walk away from. It's a really good time. So, not a Bitcoin maxi, not pumping their fucking site or anything, but it's if you're going, just say
Just
the
put that
word,
up
man.
there.
Yeah,
Put that up
just
there.
yeah. If you're going, just say the word. We'll meet you or we'll meet up with you. So
Meet at the hookah bar.
meet at the hookah bar. That's our jam right there. So I see
Love it.
Satoshi's Puggle down there. Just want to wish you good luck in the Super Bowl, my friend. Hopefully, or one of you guys are going to walk away with 300,000 Telcoins. So
I love how you say that, and then he just leaves.
yeah. Did he leave this bitch?
Yeah, he really
He's
just
just
did.
he's like fuck off.
Yeah, fuck you, Steve.
Yeah, that's all right. That's all right. Maybe we'll see what happens. We got an exciting finish there. So, all right, guys.
So,
If what? Go ahead.
I was just gonna say we're gonna know what on Monday. Who wins?
Yeah. Unless like in my other league, it's a 2-week Super Bowl. I'm not sure how we set this one up because I'm not in it. I don't give a shit anymore. So I'm
I'm out. I'm over it. Fuck it.
Yeah, exactly. As soon as I didn't get past 7 wins, I checked out. I was like, fuck it.
All right, we'll talk
But
to DB. We'll figure it out.
All right, right on, guys. So yeah, until next time, 2 weeks from now, we'll get one going here. I will start. I said in the beginning, I got all these cameras and mics going. One of them will potentially work. I'll get all this put up to YouTube after some editing. Make myself look as good as I possibly can. Better than the video earlier today with the socks and the Crocs. So
57, Steve.
57. What?
57
Oh,
the count.
I don't
what did
think
that
so.
sticky note say? It said, "Don't say What was the other?
It said, "Look at the camera and don't say So, and I think I've failed on both of those fucking things. So,
What camera? Camera 1, 2, or 3? Oh,
yeah, that's my point.
You had
I'm
a 360 camera footage. You could have
He's going in the metaverse.
the Matrix dodging bullet.
Well, I had 4 cameras, but I ran one over earlier. So, yeah,
Telcoinshop.com. We sell.
you got webcams on there. All right, yeah. All right, guys. I'll talk to you guys in 2 weeks. I'm sure I'll talk to some of you sooner than that, but thank you for participating. These are always a blast. I really like putting them on. So, and thank you, Andrew, for co-hosting, and everybody that keeps showing. Yeah, everybody shows up and participates. Yeah, keep on coming, and we'll try to make it fun. So until next time, guys.
Happy New Year, everybody.
I'm gonna play some exit music. So that means get out. So yeah. So,
Happy New Year, everybody. We'll see you in 2023.
Yeah, Happy New
Yeah, you
Year.
got it.
Later, boys. Later, everyone.
Happy New Year, guys. Yeah, see ya.
Later.